So welcome back to Blender 3.3. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the difference between object and edit mode. So we have a new scene here. Well, I basically created a new general scene. We don't save that. We get our default cube, we have our camera, and we have a light. I deleted all of that and I add a new cube. So per default, Blender goes into object mode. Object mode, you can recognize it with this kind of halo yellow line around your object. And you also see in your outliner that there is a cube in there as part of your scene collection. So when you're in object mode, you can do things like, well, move your object, scale it, and you know, basic things. But you can't edit its structure. So if I would like to change the shape of the cube, I can't do that in object mode. Let me just undo that. Move it back to the center. So we can do that in edit mode. So we switch to edit mode like this, or we just press tab. That's what I always recommend. Use hotkeys as much as you can, and just tab in between object mode and edit mode. When you switch to edit mode, you see it looks a bit different. Let's go a bit closer to this. And you have different, well, sub modes in your edit mode. We have here these little icons showing up next to our edit mode change. If we go back to object mode, they are gone. If we go back to edit mode, we have these little three icons. And they represent the different granularities of what we can edit. So we have vertices. These are the little dots here that we can select right now. We have edges, the lines connecting vertices. And we have faces. These are the, well, we need at least 3 vertices to have a triangle. And here we have 4 vertices or 4 edges to create a face, right? So we can basically edit any of those different granularities. So we can say we highlight a vertex when we're in vertex mode. And then we grab that vertex and we pull it, kind of distorting our cube a little bit, making it look like this. Or we can say we switch to edge mode, and I just pressed 1, 2, and 3 here as again a quick access hotkey to these 3 different sub modes. So if I go to 2 for edge, I can select the edge and grab that, then you can see I'm pulling the entire edge to the side, and I can make this kind of Lego-like ramp, and I can change that. Let's undo that. And last but not least, I can pick the entire face by selecting this face select, or this face sub mode, or simply by pressing 3, and then I can say I grab that and I can move the entire face around. These are all ways to edit and to use our grab tool to use these 3 sub edit modes that we have available. So there is something important about the difference between edit and object mode. So, for example, if you want to create a second cube, you can do that in either object mode or edit mode. And I want to show you there is quite a difference between them. If I press, I just create a new mesh by pressing Shift A. I have here my mesh menu coming up. I'm in edit mode right now. And I say I create a second cube. and I grab that and move it here because it's created in the same place as the first cube because my cursor is right there. Then I have two cubes, but when I look in my good old outliner here, then I can see there is only one cube being displayed here. So why is that? Well, basically in object mode, and I grab this now, these two cubes are part of the same object. There's no difference between them. They are paired, they are one mesh, they're one thing. Blender treats them as one thing. So when you create later your artifacts, or whatever it is, your cups and houses and furniture and so on, then if you want objects to be separate, you have to make sure they are in fact separate. Right now, because I created that within edit mode, then I add to the existing object. So let's kick that out again, and we create a new cube and just start the idea again. So again, I create a new mesh when I'm in edit mode, and I create a new cube. It is being added to the existing. If I switch into object mode by pressing tab, now I'm in object mode. I can see my halo again. And I create a new cube here. Then, and I move that away again. Then I can see in my outliner that I have two cubes with some strange naming. I'll just call that cube 2. So now I have two separate cubes. They're independent objects. When I'm in object mode, I say I grab that, I move it, only this cube moves. Only cube 2 moves. Cube 1 is not affected, or cube is not affected. When I now switch into edit mode, I'm getting into the edit mode of cube 2. That means I can, for example, modify the faces of cube 2. I can modify the edges of cube 2. I can modify, grab the vertices of cube 2. And cube 1 is not affected. And if you click or try to click to the vertices or edges or faces of this first cube, you can't. It's like it's miraculously protected from being edited by you. You can only work on this one because you are in edit mode. And edit mode, you have to see that as a subset below object mode. You're kind of going into detail. You're zooming in on an object. That also restricts you to the object. So if I want to switch over to the first cube here, I have to go back to object mode by pressing tab, selecting here. And now I can select the first cube. And again, I can switch into edit mode here and then modify this guy and so on. So this is kind of important, and if you want to know the structure of what you're creating, your scene and the object it contains, always go with the outliner. It will show you how many objects you actually have in there and how they are nested, how they are hierarchically connected with each other. Okay, that's all for this short video, and I see you next time around.